School for my child used to be very, he didn't like it. He would hide, get a stomach ache, frequently cry, not want to go, and it was pretty traumatic. He didn't like it at all. The first time he did kindergarten, it was, running and hiding when it was time to read. The writing, you could hardly read his letter formations. Learning to write letters was extremely difficult. He would not want to go to school on a regular basis. I've got a stomach ache, I'm tired, that sort of thing. But when it came time to doing chores or anything like that, he was very helpful and very willing to work. And so I started thinking maybe there was some kind of disconnect, and it was heartbreaking to hear my son say, I don't want to go to school today. School's boring. Am I stupid? Why can't I get this? Seems like everyone else understands. Why can't I? It was just heartbreaking. Immediately started seeing, results with, everything. It was just a completely different way to teach reading. He liked going. The first day he didn't want to come, but after the first day, when he saw that it's very engaging, and he got to use paints and clay, and that was what he needed, and it followed, a very logical order, a sequence that made sense, and revisited skills. So once they master it, they go back on. They don't just forget about the skill they learned. And probably in third grade, he was reading on target by that time. My son definitely finds reading a little bit easier now. For the first time within the last 6 months, he read a book and said, that was great. And so it was nice to see him finally enjoy reading something. And he has a much better attitude for it. Taking tests is easier because he can not struggle as much through the test. It's definitely easier to read the test. He does still need it to be very quiet and limited distractions, but he can do it, and he knows that now. And so it's a lot better. It's not easy for him. It still takes a lot of his energy, a lot more energy than somebody that isn't dyslexic, to read. But he does get some enjoyment out of it now. So it's definitely much better. My understanding of dyslexia has changed since my son was diagnosed, because I realize it's not just, first of all, it's not developmental. It's not going to go away. And it's not just a kid that reads saw for was and was for saw and writes some P's and D's backwards. It's a whole language impairment that affects so many aspects of their learning. But also, too, I think that being dyslexic makes him very special, because he has an often alternative viewpoint for looking at life that he'll share with you, and he says things that I would just never think of, that I've never heard before. The ways to think of learning and things in general. It's just very, very different. And he's a really good storyteller. He thinks of really big things. So, and I don't know that he would do that if he weren't having to have obstacles to overcome, like learning how to read and write and go through all these extra things after school. When kids are playing sports, he's learning to read and write after school. So there's so many things I wish teachers knew about dyslexia. I really wish they knew the warning signs so that they could help early identification. I think that's really important, to get help early. And I wish that they knew what an impact that they can make, even if they don't know anything about dyslexia or the way a dyslexic child learns. Teachers have such a big influence and can make a kid feel special. They can tap into what they can see that they're good at, and that helps dyslexic kids. Makes them a leader in something that they're good at. And part of, I think, with dyslexic kids, their confidence is pretty low a lot of the time. They don't have a lot of confidence, and a teacher can create a kind of environment in the community, in the classroom, that's supportive, that doesn't make the kid feel like they can't, make them feel like they can. And I really wish teachers knew the power that they have every single day, because we've had teachers that really have helped my son, and teachers that didn't really try to tap into what he's good at and make him feel like he's part of the classroom, even when he had a lot of difficulty, especially in the early years. I really wish that other parents knew that You can't wait if there's anything wrong. If you think there's anything wrong, I wish that they knew that they should just go with their gut. I got my son help. We got our son help in second grade. The help that he needed. But I really wish that I would have come earlier to get him help. The right kind of help is very important. You can't just get any kind of help. You have to get the right kind of help, because it'll just be a waste of time if you don't. The right kind of help is very important, because for a dyslexic child, they have to get the information in a different kind of way. The traditional methods just don't work, and you're just gonna not make that much progress and cause a source of frustration for the kid, even worse than it already is. So I guess I just wish other parents knew, don't wait, get help right away. I know it's hard to ask for help, or to say there's something wrong or there's a disconnect, but it's just really important to get help right away.